What's up, world? Welcome to the SUP Podcast. I'm your boy Rob Genesis.
And I'm your boy JJ Mouse. We got the honor and the pleasure of having a real elite MC on the show today. If you ever heard the project title Summer in September, then it came from this brother right here. He's one of the fucking dopest lyricists coming out of Memphis, along with a lot of other MCs coming out the city. And Rob and I feel like this brother don't get his just due. But after this new EP he's dropping, and I'm pretty sure a lot more things he got coming for 2021, it's gonna be hectic for a lot of y'all, man, because the independence is taking over. The independence is taking over. So a lot of people may know him as a Memphis hero. A lot of people may say he's a Nashville. Y'all, welcome to the SUP Podcast, the one and only Virghost. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? I got to shout out Kingpin though too. We came up with some in September together, so I can't leave him out of it.
I got that in my notes. We're gonna talk about that. We are gonna talk about that. Shout out to Kingpin Composer.
Man, for the listeners out there, man, I want to ask Virgos first and foremost. For the people who from Memphis who don't know you and around the world, what part of Memphis are you from, G?
Man, I'm from honestly, Memphis. A lot of people that stay in the city part of Memphis may not consider where I'm from, Memphis, but I stay in the Raleigh Millington area. I'm from that area, and it's not really Millington, but it's also not really Raleigh. So it's in a kind of a dead spot because I went to Raleigh, Egypt, and I went to Millington. So that's where I primarily grew up, over there on Raleigh Millington by the racetrack over there by the Memphis Motorsports Park. So that's where I'm from.
I didn't like North Haven and shit like that.
Yeah, I used to live over there in North Haven too. It's not North Haven. It's a separate thing, but it's close to. It's about 5 minutes away from North Haven.
Yeah, I remember being out there a lot. We out there hooping with my partners and shit. And you better not be out there after dark because there ain't no street lights over there.
Nah, pitch black out there, dog. No street lights.
The neighborhood I stayed in didn't have no lights. So
man. For a lot of people who don't know, I want to know, as far as for your experience, what was it like growing up being a PK, a preacher's kid?
It was difficult. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't allowed to listen to rap music and stuff like that. And for me personally as a rapper, I had learned about a lot of rap a lot of rap that wasn't on the radio once I got became a junior and senior high school, and more so when I got in college because I wasn't allowed to listen to it. Now I was a music head though, even though my household was like that, I was still a music head, and I used to sneak and listen to music. And I used to get my ass whooped a lot for listening to certain music. But, you know what I'm saying? It was difficult because I wasn't able to do a lot of stuff that other kids I grew up with could do. I couldn't watch certain stuff that other kids could watch, and I used to get picked on when I was in middle school because they used to be watching all kinds of shit, and they used to talk about it in the cafeteria, and I'm like, I don't know what they talking about, but I'm trying to act like I
watch Dragon Ball Z.
No, I really wasn't into that, man. I used to watch, shit. I used to watch a lot of Power Rangers and shit like that, Batman and Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, we all watched it though. At least you got to see some of the good stuff, bro. It's cool. It's still good.
I was rebellious though. I used to still get my music, man. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy, even though my dad was a preacher, he still was a music person. That's where I got it from. You know what I'm saying? So it worked out.
Matter of fact, I want to ask you, who influenced you to really get into rap music? What artists did you hear that just really had you yo, dude, dope, I want to do this?
A couple of people, because I always grew up on Memphis rap. Y'all know, y'all from Memphis. I grew up on Memphis rap, so all I knew was 3 6 Mafia, Player Fly, Yo Gotti. My uncles used to listen to A-Ball and MJG. I knew that, but I didn't know nothing about East Coast rap. So when I was in high school, my homeboy was from Brooklyn, and he had told me, he was like, man, I want you to check out Mos Def, Black on Both Sides. And I was like, man, I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? I was a Memphis, I just listened to Memphis. Yeah, so I listened to that. I took it home. I was like, I give it a chance, and I listened to it. And it was different. It was way fucking different from what I had been listening to. So I was like, man, this nigga, because I was writing poetry too. So I was like, this sound like my poetry. It sounded a lot like my poetry. So then once I started listening to Mos Def, then I started listening to Nas. Then Black Album came out around that same time, so I started listening to Jay-Z Black Album. And then Kanye came out. That really made me feel comfortable because I ain't no street dude. I ain't never been involved in nothing like this. So to hear a dude that was just like a regular dude rapping, that made me really feel like I could rap at that point when Kanye came out. So it was them. I would say it started with Mos Def, Black on Both Sides, then Black Album by Jay-Z, and College Dropout by Kanye. Them three things.
Now, during your stint in like high school and stuff, where you were those type of individuals that were involved with the lunchroom ciphers and stuff like that, or was it just strictly poetry?
Man, I wanted to be. I wanted to be, but I was nervous. I used to see my homies rapping and stuff like that, and they knew I could write poetry and rhyme, but they used to always tell me to invite me to come rap at the cafeteria table. They used to invite me to come to the studio, but I just for one, I couldn't come to the studio anyway because I grew up in a strict household, so I couldn't do that no way. But I just wasn't really developed enough to rap at that point. I didn't start actually rapping until 2008. You know what I'm saying? So when I was in high school, I wasn't even rapping at all, man. So I ain't do none of it.
I thought it was in the lunchroom ciphers, like in them circle ciphers.
Man, I wanted to.
Man, bro, one time, bro, at the lunchroom cipher, I quoted a whole Biggie verse. Only one of my partners picked up on it. It was the jump when Biggie was like, as I grabbed the Glock, put it to your headpiece, one in the chamber, the safety is off the release. And then the part where he was like, when I bust in the EYE, I said ROB. And niggas was like, oh, I like that. They like that nigga cold, dog. And then my partner Brian came over me.
I thought about doing it, man. I was gonna do that one day out because at that time that was when they was doing it in high school when I was there. It was the time when Ludacris was on the song "This Bitch That Hoe" on the Choices joint, and I was gonna do his verse. I thought about it. I was like, man. I said I might do that verse, and I'm not being smart at all, not realizing everybody gonna know the song because it's all on the radio. And I thought about it, but I didn't do it.
Man, I did. I had everybody tripping, and like at the time, like all of us was on Memphis rap anyway. Like you said. So when I hit the Biggie verse, like Moss was in school with me too. It wasn't a lot of us hip hop heads. I was one of them hip hop heads.
Yeah.
And when I did it, my partner Brian gonna look at me. He waited till everybody walk out. He said, I wasn't gonna bust you out, but don't spit Biggie shit no more, man. I was like, damn. I knew you would catch this shit.
What school y'all was at?
White Station.
White Station.
Oh, okay. We played them in high school and got our ass whooped. So
what, basketball, football?
Basketball.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, at White Station, we went at that era where Orange Mound was there, dog. We made it hood. And me and Mouse stayed by Melrose, and we couldn't understand why we was at White Station.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My brother went to Melrose, man.
Yeah.
They felt like it was too many Orange Mountain niggas. Now they switched their district the next school year. Like, we changed that district.
That's how Raleigh. A lot of people that stay by Raleigh go to Bolton. It's crazy.
Yeah. And Bolton far, man.
Yeah, so
now, when you got to the point where you wanted to basically start recording your own material, is that what led to the RAP project?
That you mean me recording myself or just recording them just in general?
Just recording, like, just releasing like a full length project.
Yeah. That's when I came out with the RAP projects, that was when I first started rapping. And the first one was I recorded with my homeboy Brandon Page. We used to call him 901. I think he still go by 901 or Chase Dollars. But he used to I was introduced to him through Knowledge Nick and Quake. And that was when I first started rapping and doing poetry. And Nick asked me to do a poetry intro for his mixtape, and I went over there and did it. And they wasn't tripping off there. It wasn't nothing spectacular, nothing. But I had heard, back then we was putting music on MySpace. So I heard a song. I heard a song. Nick had a song like this posse song called Higher Ground, and I heard it on MySpace. I'm like, man, I want to rap on it. And I had hit up Nick, and I was like, man, you mind if I rap on it? He was surprised. You know, I didn't rap at the time. He was like, you sure? And I was like, yeah. So I rapped on it. And when I went to the studio and rapped on it, Brandon Page liked my verse so much that he told me that I could come back and record for free anytime. So I took full advantage of it and I recorded. I wasn't trying to record a project because that was when I first started. I was just recording music. And then once I got a part, at that same time, I got a part of Hype. I became part of Hype Life Marketing with Fat Mac. And at that time, I started developing a name as a spoken word artist. And when I was performing, people was asking me for, my music and stuff like that. And I just had random songs. And I was like, shit, I might as well go and get the songs I recorded, put it together, and put out a project. And that's how RAP 1, Rhythm and Poetry 1 came about. And the second one I just recorded with my brother Denario Dawson at his studio. And that's when I got a part of Point Blank Entertainment at that time. But yeah, that was the beginning of me recording, like really seriously making projects at that time, like when I first started rapping.
So I want to ask, so what age you want to say that you started rapping? Like,
I was
writing rhymes, right.
I started writing rhymes when I was like 13, but I didn't start rapping until I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now during this time, when you started to really record, were you in college at the time?
Yeah. I was in college. I had just got reinstated in college. I got kicked out of school for a minute, and then that same year I got back in school. That's when I started rapping. So, but yeah.
Damn. Now,
when
you said what now?
I got kicked out of school twice. There's a story for another day.
I did. I got kicked out of school.
When did you make the big move to Nashville?
I moved to Nashville in January 2014, but I didn't tell nobody really knew I moved to. I put out Nashville in 2016. So people was like, "You in Nashville?" Like, man, I've been in Nashville for 2 years, man. You know what I'm saying? So
what?
Yeah.
Hey, that's moving in silence. That's moving in silence. It's actually a good thing. That is.
It was a lot going on. It was a lot of things going on at the time that made me move to Nashville. But I mean, I spent a lot of time. I don't look at it as moving here because my mama from here, and I spent every summer here too. You know what I'm saying? So it was like this is like always been a second home to me anyway.
Gotcha. So you kind of basically was back and forth.
Yeah. I'm always back and forth. This is the first year I ain't been back and forth because of COVID and stuff like that. But usually I'd be in Memphis at least once or twice a month. So
yeah, that's my whole.
It just 3 hours. Hell, I even go to the Ville myself just to get the fuck away, bro. Because Memphis just can be a strain.
It's a cool city, man. It's just I realize how much of a Memphis person I am once I moved here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's cool, but it's like it ain't nothing like Memphis though.
You're right. Matter of fact, I wanted to ask you, like, what age did you drop your first project, and like, how did you feel when you dropped that jump?
My first project I dropped when I was 21. That was Rhythm and Poetry 1, and that was back when I was printing them junks out, printing the covers out on printers, and writing on the CD and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, it did well though because I was a really big name in the spoken word scene in Memphis, man. So it was like, and I used my spoken word to get my rap out because I had such a big fan base with my spoken word. So it was dope, man. And the thing that was special about that particular project, I made it because people asked me to do it. Like people heard me perform spoken word, and they were asking me to actually put a project out. But it was dope because I remember when I released it. Fat Mac did this big show for me. It used to be a place called Euphoria downtown. It's like a sub shop or something now, but it was called Euphoria, and we used to have something called the Melting Pot. And I remember, man, when I put that CD out, motherfucker was signing my CD, bro. Like it was weird. It was really weird. Like it was folks coming up to me, like asking me to sign my autograph on my CD, on the CD that they was buying.
That's amazing.
And that was crazy, bro.
That was something new for you.
Yeah, man. I was like, man, so it was special because a year before that I wasn't rapping at all. You know what I'm saying? Like a year later, I had fans and performing and doing all kinds of stuff, man. So it was a really good feeling. I'm sure I was really a young, arrogant little motherfucker, but it is. I didn't realize it at the time.
Now, you was mostly inspired with the spoken word from the famous Deaf Poetry, correct?
Right, yeah.
Man, I remember them days. Them coming on TV, man. I remember them days, man. I remember.
I was inspired by that, but what's even more, two things are really crazy about that. I was inspired to do spoken word from Deaf Poetry, but I didn't know that they had a scene like that in Memphis. So like years later, I had got invited to a spoken word show, and I'm like, damn, these dudes just as good as the dudes on Deaf Poetry. You know what I'm saying? So that and it made me feel like I belonged there, man. Like when I got there, I finally felt like I belonged to something. And then what's also crazy is the poet on Deaf Poetry Jam that really inspired me the most was Malik Yusuf. And I personally know him now. We speak to each other all the time now. That's what's really crazy. This man that inspired me is telling me that I'm dope. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a whole full circle thing right there.
That's dope. That's very dope.
You putting in work, man, and then it just comes to you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now, how did you end up hooking up with Capital Minds?
I didn't actually hook up with Capital Minds. What happened was when I moved to Nashville, my brother Truth Clipsy and my brother Soul Man Snipes, we was already kind of working together because I had been knowing Snipes because we had been working together in Memphis on a bunch of stuff. But he knew this guy named Truth Clipsy, and he kept telling me, man, you need to go record with him because I was recording my own music at that time. And he was like, man, you need to record with him. And I was like real like closed off at this time. I'm like, man, I don't want to fuck with nobody. I got my own studio equipment. I don't want to do none of it. And he was like, he got the quality you need. So eventually I ended up recording with Truth, and we became like really close. We brothers now. You know, him and Snipes was in my wedding and everything. So we family, but we was prepping to release my album called It Gets Greater Later at the time.
I remember.
And we was on the phone one day after we got through, we was talking about what videos we were gonna shoot. I'm like, man, we just need to be like a group. We already working together. We should just kind of come together as a collective, you know what I'm saying, and start a movement. And we was on a 3-way call, and we was just tossing out names. At first they was like, we should use the Squad stuff that I used in Memphis. And I was like, no, I didn't want to use the Squad stuff because Squad is his own thing. Like we really built something with Squad, and I didn't want to I don't want to disrespect the guys that was in that group with me because we really built that from the ground up. And I was like, nah, this needs to be something fresh. And Truth was like, he said he used to have a group called Capital Minds, I think, and he was like, we can just use that. So from that phone call, we was just like, we Capital Minds. So Capital Minds started out as me, Truth, and Snipes, and then it just grew into all of this other stuff. Now Truth and Snipes and got a publishing deal. We got other artists besides myself on the team and everything. Snipes managed Deuce. He's part of Capital Minds. Like it's way bigger than it was from their phone call. So that's how it started.
I see it.
I learned a lot right now. Okay, I see it.
Yeah, it started out as just them working to build up my It Gets Greater Later, but you see, it's way bigger than it. Way bigger.
Yeah, y'all got other artists and shit like that. It's like y'all really building a foundation. And like I like seeing anytime either Snipes post something or you post something, as far as when I see that hashtag Capital Minds, and let me know, it's like, damn, man, they really is built something, man. So you know, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all really doing it because I know y'all got a lot in store coming for 2021.
Most definitely, bigger shout out to Snipes and True because they, it started out with us three, but they've built it to what it is now. So that's all them.
Shout out to them brothers, man. Now, summer in September. Shout out to Kingpin Composer. Let him know that it's an open invitation for him to appear on the podcast. How did you all start creating these masterpieces, man? Because Lord have mercy, man. With his production and with your rhyming, and it's just like a perfect mesh, man. How did y'all start on like building it?
We started out. I was a fan. I was always a fan of Kingpin's music, but his beats. But I didn't know him personally. I used to see him making beats for everybody else, and he told me personally back in 2012 that he was a big fan of my album Trial and Error. And we just never got to work together. But honestly, man, I was too broke. I know he got to make money off his beats. I was too broke to even buy any beats from him. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't afford it. I wanted to, but I just couldn't afford it. But I also never approached him about any way to actually purchase his beats neither. But he hit me up one day and he wanted to record a song. He was working on an album at that time where he was getting a bunch of rappers on his album, kind of like I guess kind of like Khaled be doing.
Yeah.
So it ended up being me. He wanted me, Omega, Omega Forte, and Promise TMG to be on the song he produced. So they came to my studio and we recorded the song, and that was the first song me and Kingpin ever did together. Even though it was two other guys on there, I forgot the name of it. It's on SoundCloud, but I forgot the name of it. But it was really popular. And at that same time, that's when I won the K97 contest, and they like my music. Yeah, they like my music a lot, but Devin Steele and Mike T kept telling me that I needed a radio song. They're like, you can rap, but you don't have any content for the radio. And me at that time, I'm like, man, I got such and such and this and this. And they was like, nah, them ain't no radio song though. So I did this one song. They had gave me, it was like basically a record that was already complete. It was a record with Tone Yates. Tone Yates produced it and he was singing on it. And they I hated the fucking song, but they kept asking me to rap on this song. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go on and do it. And so I did it and they liked it. And I was like, cool, I got that monkey out my back. I got a radio song. But then they had called me back and it was like, we gave that song to Kurt Cobain. And I'm like, y'all sit up here and made me do this whole song and y'all sold it to Kurt Cobain, bro. Like, so I was really disappointed because I was really opposed to making a radio song. And I feel like I had to build myself up to do that. And then for them to tell me they sold it to somebody else. So I like, cool, fuck it. So I got Kingpin. I hit up Kingpin because we had just recorded that song. I was like, hey man, they want me to make this radio song. I want to take the lyrics I got from what this song and can you like put together this beat with this Aaliyah sample that I really like? And he was like, cool. So he sent me the beat back a couple of days later, and it was way better than I knew it was gonna be dope, but he exceeded my expectations. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I recorded the song and it was really, they played it on the radio all summer. People loved it. So one day I just told Kingpin, I was like, hey man, I said, why, I really been wanting to work with you and we got these two popular songs. Why don't we come together and just do an EP together and we can just split the money? And he was with it. You know what I'm saying? That's how Summer September was born. And I'm grateful. Like I tell people all the time, I'm really grateful the Kingpin did that because he could have told me, nah, bro. Like he could have been like, nah, bro, that's not gonna benefit me, I don't have to do. But he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then from that project, we ended up making two more after that first one. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Kingpin. He actually saved me with that song too. So
shout out to Kingpin, man. Like when I listen to all three of them, it's like, damn, man, these dudes really mesh well for our production style and with your rhyme and your storytelling. And I just feel like, just your catalog alone, I feel like it's very underrated. Like I said, I put you in the same space as, just like you said, Omega Forte. Shout out to him. Shout out to Jay Discreet. Shout out to Jacob Trump. Shout out to Hippie Soul. Like, it's like a bunch of y'all, man, that like is in this underground myth hop shit that I feel like it's time for people to start waking up. It's really it's time for people to really start bullshit and like get on the real.
Had it, man. Memphis been had talent, man. It just Memphis just need the infrastructure and the know-how to get it, to the right places. We don't lack no talent in Memphis. I know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Now,
so I say this. I want to say from your first project to the new EP you dropping, what have you learned so far in this game, man? What have you soaked up?
Good question.
Man, I've learned a lot of stuff. One thing that I've learned is you need to work on your own time. You need to be grounded and work on your own time because like rap can be really, really demanding, especially now. People want you to have stuff out immediately. Everybody competing with each other and stuff like that. It's really good to just be grounded and move at your own pace. You know what I'm saying? Because if you moving at other people's pace and you trying to do what everybody else doing, you're gonna get sidetracked and you just gonna fall into you're not gonna stand out because you moving on another man's time and on another man's energy. Use your own energy, move at your own time, and stay grounded because that's where people gonna see you. You're gonna stand out more if you do that. That's one of the number one things I would say.
Yeah.
Good
and
question.
also pick your battles, man. Pick your battles. Like, especially if you're in a position, if you're in a certain position locally, like a lot of those guys you just named, they in positions where they got a lot of visibility. Everybody ain't got visibility, even on a local level. You may rap, you may be dope, but do people see you and pay attention to you? And if you do have that visibility, that gives you power. And one thing I learned, when I lived in Memphis, I used to be the kind of rapper where I used to respond to everybody, no matter who you was. Like, if you say something about me or anything, I'm coming at you. I'm coming back at you. And I learned, man, everybody can't get that energy, especially when you're in a certain position. Like, you know what I'm saying? And even if you do give people that energy, you need to do it a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta look like what you are. You have visibility, that means you have power. You gotta move like a person that got power. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that too. Just pick your battles, man. You can't fight everybody.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I like their response. I definitely like their response. Now, within the process of you releasing all these projects and you getting like you building your buzz, are you basically, reading up on the knowledge within the industry, like far as the business side of it?
Yeah, I mean, I try to stay up to date with everything going on, because in the music industry, it changed quickly. Like, things like even just 3 years ago, things are not like it was. Now the way things are now is not like it was 3 years ago. It definitely not like it was 10 years ago. So I try to keep myself in tune in it, and a lot of that is like my homeboy Truth Clips and Soul Man Snipes. They keep me updated with a lot of stuff, but yeah, you have to know the business, man. Like, I got an unreleased song where I'm talking about that. I'm like, knowing the business, your business is above the rap. If you don't know your business and all that rap stuff, it don't really mean nothing. But you have to consistently and constantly stay in tune with the business, man. Like, a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, streaming existed, but it wasn't like it is now. Like, you could still go on iTunes, you could still go buy CDs if you wanted to. That mattered. But like, now, there are virtually no places to buy CDs, and streaming is everything. And now Bandcamp is coming. Like, places like Bandcamp are now also beginning to become popular, where artists are finding out they can still sell their products directly to the consumer, where they don't have to go through streaming. So I think that's going to continue to get more and more popular as the coming years come, because we're not making no money off streaming. You know what I'm saying? So I've been ahead of that for the longest, though, because I've been on Bandcamp since 2010. So I've been on that train. So. And
hey, Rob, he just like us. He's a faithful Joe Budden podcast listener, and part of talking.
Ta-da!
I listen to that shit every Wednesday and Saturday. So, faithfully.
Yeah, but he saw it because Parks was talking about that, and then when you made the post, I'm like, well, shit, technically he was ahead of his time. Like, you've been on it since 2010, and Joe and the rest of the guys really couldn't believe something like this really existed. It's like, damn, like, with them being, I guess, on much bigger platform and having more resources, you would think they would have knew stuff like that. Like, that was really shocked about that.
Yeah, and well, it's shocking, but I understand too, because they even though they got the podcast and they preach like independence and all that stuff, they still are in the industry. In the industry, they are still tied to what's making them money right now, which is streaming. So of course they're not gonna talk about things like that, man. But I do think it's gonna get popular with artists just directly getting it to the consumer, man. Because we're not making no money, man. I made, like what he said on the podcast, man. I made more money when I dropped Ghost Tape in 1 week than I made the entire year for my streaming of all of my projects combined. That's it. So that should tell you how much of a difference it is.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. And even
it's what it said, a certain amount of streams is what, like half a penny, right?
I don't know. It depends on which platform you use. I think Tidal is the best one, and I think Spotify is the least best one if I'm not mistaken. But with Bandcamp, the only thing about Bandcamp is you got to convince your fan base to buy from there, because most of the people that listen to music consume music through streaming. So they have to have a reason. But I always tell them, like, look, it's your project. When you buy it, it's yours. You got it. When you streaming it, it's not like if you stop streaming with that platform, you no longer have the project. But if you buy it directly from me, it's yours to have. And with us, man, and the thing good about Bandcamp too, on Fridays, they make it to where they don't take any revenue from you. Because I think they take like 15% with every sale, but on Friday, they don't take nothing. They just let you have the whole entire thing, which is also dope because usually people release on Friday, you know.
Dope. That's very dope. That's very dope. Now, the dope ass project you end up dropping this year, Ghost Tape. Man, what was their recording process like? Cause him and I still bump this shit now.
Yeah. That was different from every other project I got because every project I've had thus up to Ghost Tape, I actually had like a concept, a plan. It was a structured thing. Before I even put it out, it was like written out everything. So it was like formatted like an album. With Ghost Tape, I went into 2020. I went into 2020 saying that I was just gonna make singles. Like me and my engineer had a discussion. And he was like, man, you already know how to make albums. People know you know how to make really great albums. Why don't you focus on the things that people say you can't do? Like you know you can do it, but you seen yourself do it, but you proved to other people like you can do this. He was like, let's focus on songwriting and stuff like that. And I was like, well, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna just start releasing singles all year. I'm not gonna put out no albums. I'm just gonna make really dope singles and show people my songwriting side because I developed that with the K97 thing because they made me do a radio song. So I just I was like, cool. And when the coronavirus hit, that just messed my whole plan up, like of releasing singles all year. And I was just kind of in a place where I didn't know what to do. I'm like, man, I got all these dope songs. I don't know what to do now because I can't go nowhere. This is when we was locked down where we couldn't go nowhere. So I was like, I don't really know what to do. And I thought about it. I was like, man, I haven't made no like actual mixtapes since the RAP mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? I was like, so why don't I try something different? It's a new decade, new year. Why don't I try something new during this time, this unprecedented time, this different time? Let me try to do something different. So I just got all of my songs that I had recorded that thus far at that point. And I got a song that I didn't put on Good Intentions, and I put all the songs together and I just kind of put it in. I made the theme like a mixtape. I didn't want it to be a mixtape because it's not technically a mixtape because it's a bunch of original music. But I was like, I want to put it in a format where it's not an album, it's not a concept, it's just some dope music put together like a collection of music to hold people until I actually put out an album. And I put it together, and once I put it together, I'm like, man, this shit sound like an album. I'm like, man, it was dope because it don't sound like none of my albums. It was just different. It was just completely different, and it wasn't a mixtape. It was a ghost tape. That's what I tell people. It wasn't an album. It wasn't a mixtape. It was just a ghost tape.
Yeah. So, and man, I listened to the new EP, man. I'm loving that junk. I don't give a fuck junk in this skin junk, man.
Appreciate it. We got a video of Skin coming tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, hey, that's a banger. That's a banger. I like it.
Yeah, we got the video for Skin coming out Monday. So,
man, I see. That's the thing about it, as far as with the whole team with Capital Minds. I see y'all building up for some coming as far as 2021. Y'all really building up for something, man. Like that's what I'm loving. Like I'm loving to see that type of shit within our industry, as far as in this Memphis rap shit. Like I'm loving it, man. I'm really loving. I'm loving what y'all doing.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Weez, man. Weez is he's an R&B singer in our Capital Minds. Shout out to Ratchet, man. Ratchet, they in the group. Them cats, man. They got a song that's coming in 2020, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna pop. I'm gonna tell you, man.
Hey, you've been ahead of your time a couple of times before, so shit. Hey, I believe.
Yeah.
Now, searching for Shallow, as he just mentioned, as far as the new EP you got coming out on the first, you starting out 2021 correctly. I hit you up and I was like, I see what you're doing. He's like, man, I had to because I was gonna get bored.
Yeah. I mean, it's same with Ghost Tape. Man. I had to do something different. I'm gonna get bored with doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, because with most of your projects, I kind of noticed like you wasn't a real a big auto-tune user, but you did with this one, and you actually sound good with the shit. Because most people don't know how to use it or know how to mix it correctly, but you sound good with this shit, especially with I Don't Give a Fuck. Like that shit is fucking. Your flows and your rhyme patterns are still there, but that shit sounds fucking good sonically.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That's all my engineer, man. Truth Cliff. He got it. I mean, I told him I wanted a little bit more auto tune on it because I wanted to. I've been wanting to do some musical auto tune for a minute. I just didn't want to force it. I wanted it to be like organically like put together. I mean, we kind of use auto tune on every like you can't really tell, but on Rent Song is auto tune on my voice on Rent Song on Aviator's theme. Most of the songs where I'm doing melody is a little bit of auto tune on it, but not like I Don't Give a Fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like I Don't Give a Fuck, you can clearly hear the auto tune in it, you know. But I just wanted that kind of auto tune. I wanted it to be organic, and I didn't want it to come off as corny because sometimes when people do that, like you said, they don't know how to mix it well. They forcing it. It just don't sound right. And I wanted something that sounded right with me, and that sounded perfect to me the way he mixed, the way Truth mixed it. So yeah, I'm excited for people to hear that though, because that's different. That ain't like nothing else I get, you know.
Man,
Yep.
I told you.
Man. He answered all my questions, man. You got it.
Well, okay, right before we get out of here,
that new EP, bro. It's bumping, man. I'm saying just like that. Even Memphis is bumping, man.
I appreciate it because I was nervous about that, John. I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of nervous. I started letting like people with like y'all, like people like kind of in the podcast industry and just reviewers and magazines and newspaper people hear it. I was nervous. I was like, man, I don't know how people gonna accept this, John, because it don't Ghost. I was already nervous about Ghost Tape because Ghost Tape don't sound like none of my other stuff, but this is really, really different from what I usually do. So I was like, man, I don't know how people gonna accept it, especially the first track you hear got auto tune on my voice, man. I don't know. But then when I started letting people hear it and I was getting the reactions, I was like, well, shit, maybe people will fuck with it, you know. So
you start getting that response from people like, anytime I see you post what people are saying, I was like, I'm agreeing with it. It's like, yeah, people feel the same way I feel about it.
Yeah.
Now, what are you wanting when this EP is released and when besides us, the people who already had the chance to listen to it, like what do you want people to take away from it?
I think it was because it was so personal for me. Like I guess I want people to just don't be afraid to just be yourself and say what you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, because for a minute I was kind of nervous to say, like, if you follow my music, I was always a personal, like I talked about what's going on in my life and my music, and then like I guess once I got to No Sleep Under the Circumstances, I kind of got a little bit less personal in my music. And I think with this music, I got back to being a little bit more personal. So I guess just like don't be afraid to say what you want to say, and don't be afraid to take chances, because I took a lot of chances with this project. And I even though I'm saying I was nervous, I also didn't care about I cared about what people thought, but I also didn't care because I want to be able to be creative and expand in what I'm doing. And I feel like that's very important as an artist, not just as an artist, as a person. You can't be afraid to do new things and different things, because you're going to be stagnant in the same place. You ain't gonna never grow and get to where you want to go. So I think with this project, I think that's the main thing I want people to know. Just be open to grow and do new things and evolve into something different. So that's the main thing.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad, man, we was able to get you on the podcast. I'm glad you let us be able to get a taste of what you got coming for 2021. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the whole Capital Minds. Like, y'all really doing y'all thing. Shout out to you. You've been very consistent as far as with your projects, whether these are singles or videos. And, you know, we just trying to do our part as far as on the Straight Up Poppin' podcast to make sure, man, we making people aware of that. You know, it's some real dope shit out there within the Memphis hip hop culture that needs some more attention than what is.
And I appreciate y'all, man. We need more stuff like this in Memphis, man. Like I keep telling people, I know a lot of people may think I'm disconnected with Memphis because I'm out here in Nashville, but I'm very connected. I watch everything, man. Like, we need this kind of stuff, man. It's a lot of talent. And the difference between Memphis and Nashville is Memphis, and I'm not trying to say Nashville has talent too, don't get me wrong, but Memphis has a different kind of talent. And we just had the infrastructure and a lot of like this kind of stuff right here. It helps so much, man. Like, it helps. So Memphis just need a light, because we do have a light on us in certain areas, like mainstream wise. But I'm saying, like, a lot of people don't know Memphis has lyricists, man. You know what I'm saying? And people that do And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of folks like NLE Chopper and Moneybagg. Yo, I listen to all of this stuff myself, man. It's inspiring to me. But there is a different side. And I've been preaching this since I was in Memphis. There's a different side of Memphis rap that a lot of people are completely oblivious to, man. And stuff like this helps get a light on it. So I appreciate y'all too, man.
Man, let people know where to find you far as on social media, man, and also let them know where to find the new EP once it's dropped on January 1st, 2021.
Yeah, you can follow me on, of course, Facebook, Virghost, Instagram, The Real Virghost, Twitter, The Real Virghost, and you can pre-order the Searching for Shiloh EP on virghostmyfiasco.bandcamp.com, and it'll be available everywhere. On iTunes, Spotify, not iTunes. I don't even think iTunes is a thing now, but Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, all that stuff. It'll be everywhere on New Year's Day. So make sure y'all go out there and get it.
All right. Well, trust me, man. Anytime you want to promote something or shit, you just want to get on the podcast and talk shit, just like how Joe done be doing, man. Shit, it's always an open invitation.
I'm a shit talker. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't talk a lot of shit out here, but I am definitely a shit talker.
Hey, man. All right. This is the Straight Up Papa Podcast with my boy Rob Genesis and the one and only Virghost. I'm JJ Mouse, and we are out.